Hello.
Hi there.
How are you?
Doing wonderful. Thanks. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. Um, I'm excited to be here. So we're just going to jump right into it. Can you tell me
Yes.
a little about yourself? Like, who are you and what do you do?
My name is Dr. Saundra Russell-Smith. I'm an author, an educator, and the CEO of the new company Limitless Leader. I've recently published a book that I remembered to bring on today called Limitless Leader Leading Beyond Your Disability. And it is about the journey that I took as a covert person who stutters. I was always a person who stuttered, and I hid that fact from most everyone that I worked with um, until about 3 or 4 years ago when I don't want to say came out, but I acknowledged the fact that I'm a person who stutters. And I did something I'd never done before. I started to lead with my disability identity, which is something that I had never done before. I had always hid the fact that I stuttered. And after attending the NSA, the National Stuttering Association con- conference, it gave me the courage to lead as a person who stutters and own it and name it. And now I can't stop talking about it.
I love that. I love that for sure. Um, I remember attending my first conference in 2021, and I felt the same way. Like before, you could tell that I stuttered, but I always tried to hide it. But
Mm-hmm.
after
Mm-hmm.
attending the conference, I was just like, why am I hiding my stutter? Like, once you talk to me, you're gonna find out that I do stutter. So there's no point of me hiding it. So that's when I started to just like let it flow, and it's
Exactly.
been relieving after that. So I could totally relate to your story for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's hard. It's exhausting hiding a fundamental part of who you are. But because stuttering, like Joe Biden said few months ago, stuttering is one of the few disabilities that people still feel like it's okay to laugh at. And nobody wants to be laughed at. And so we go through all of these ministrations, and we go through all of these acrobatics to hide a fundamental part of ourselves. And I found that for me, once I embraced it, once I owned it, and once I was able to talk about it without apologizing for it, my life
Mhm.
completely changed. And I'm able to advocate more for myself and advocate more for others. I'm able to to host entire workshops about stuttering and about I created a framework called the leader framework, which outlines how leaders can navigate and advocate for other people who stutter or other people who have disabilities besides stuttering. So owning it and being able to advocate for myself and for others have been, I think, a long lasting part of what the NSA gave me in terms of owning my stutter.
Okay, I love that. But I'm excited to talk about your book, Limitless Leader. Who who was your inspiration in writing Limitless Leader? Like, who was that one person?
My grandmother. My grandmother was a person who stutters, but she was born in 1925. And in 1925, there was no support, there was no name, there was no grace for Black girls in the South who stuttered. And so my grandmother was the strongest woman I knew, in that she had a moderate to severe stutter, and she was able to grow up in Missouri and get married twice and have babies and raise a family and hold a job and be a Black woman in America until she passed away a few years ago. And so watching her navigate her stutter, I that was a gift for me because she
mm,
was the only other woman that I knew who stuttered. And so
mm,
fast forward to a space and time where I am charged with being a leader. I really leaned on her legacy to be able to do what I did for so long. I was a teacher. I was an assistant principal, district office administrator, and stuttered throughout all of those roles.
mm,
And then I was tired of hiding. I was
mm,
exhausted with not being my true authentic self. And so, with the support of the National Stuttering Association, I really started to embrace and talk about
mm,
and outline for people what it feels like to be a person who stutters, but more importantly, to be a Black woman who stutters, because we are
mm,
we're such a small part of the population of people who stutter. The population of people who stutter is 1%. If you
mm,
take 5 people, four of the 5 people who stutter, 4 will be men and 1 will be a
mm.
female. And of those
Right,
females, how many are Black women or even just women of color? So the
right.
population of Black women who stutter is very small. And so when you find a community of us, when you find more than one of us who stutters, like we're excited to be near each other, to be around each other, because we know now that we have another person that we
Mm,
can lean on who literally knows exactly what we're going through. When we say I had a hard stuttery day, that sister knows
mm.
exactly what you're I'm talking about, and she can relate on levels that people who don't stutter can't. But
For
about my
sure.
book, I've created a framework. I'm sorry, I kind of went
Mhm.
off the on topic.
That's
My book
okay.
is called Limitless. Thanks. And I created framework for leaders to follow. It is the LEADER, and it stands for leverage your strengths, empower others, advocate for others, defy limitations, elevate strengths, and resonate with purpose. All things
Mm,
that good leaders do. But when you are a leader who is struggling with hiding something that's a fundamental part of you, that not only helps the people that you lead, that helps you as the leader to be a better leader and to be a more empathetic and a more inclusive leader, because now you're not just being inclusive for your staff, you're being inclusive for
mm.
yourself.
Okay. And how do you incorporate that into your d- daily life? Like professionally, how do you include that?
I give myself more grace. If I'm having a really rough time, like if I'm meeting somebody for the first time, it used to be that I was nervous that they would find out that I was a person who stutters.
Mm,
Now I've learned to lead with that. I will say,
okay.
I'm Dr. Saundra Russell-Smith. I'm a person who stutters. You may hear me repeat words or phrases because that is how I speak. Some people say that I should not do that, but
Mm,
I found that when I do that, it is freeing for me because I
mm-hmm.
let people know what to expect when they engage with me. Just like if I wasn't a
Right.
person who stutters. I mean, people look at me and they say, oh, she must be a female because she's got jewelry and she's got long hair and she speaks like this and her
Mm-hmm.
name is this. So people can see who I am, and that gives them a signal of how to relate to me. If I
Mm-hmm.
have a hidden disability and I want people to understand how to treat me, then I have to
Mm-hmm.
be the person who says, this is me, this is who I am, this is what you'll
Mm-hmm.
hear. And I think that
Mm-hmm.
that's more for me than it is for them. Because once I tell
Right.
people, they don't care. They want to
Mm-hmm.
engage with me either way. But it takes the onus off of me to hide my stuttering because now it's become a habit that I'm trying
Mm-hmm.
so hard to break to be a covert stutterer. That's like my go-to. But I'm trying to be more authentic and be more real and stutter as I because that's how I speak.
Facts. I know it could be relieving just to like get that off your shoulders, just to say, hey, this is who I am. So there's no pressure in like at all in the room. So just to say, hey, I'm a person who stutters. This is what I sound like. This is it. I know that could be relieving. And I know for me, I'm still working on this disclosing that I'm a person who stutters because I'm like, what if they judge me? What if they
Mm-hmm.
say this or that? And I'm just like, you know what? I'm an adult. Like, if they don't understand this is who I am as a person, then that's on them. You know. So I
Mm-hmm.
look up to you because I want to be where you are and be comfortable saying that I am a person who stutters and this is who I am and this is how
Yeah.
I speak. So just hearing you say that encourages me to the next time I meet somebody new or I'm in front of a crowd speaking, I can say, hey, I'm Ariana and I'm a person who stutters. And this is how I sound, and this is what's going to happen when I do stutter. So it's just to clear the air and get lift the weight off my shoulders. So I love that.
Yes, absolutely. And actually, I'm scheduled to give a speech in late October, and I'm speaking
Okay.
about leading with a disability. And so I have to come up with a really hot 10-minute speech about what my
Okay.
topic is. And I think what I want to do is I want to lead with my statement of who I am. I've never really done that before, especially
Mm-hmm.
being a speaker. I always talk about who I am and the whole thing, and I'll save the part about my stuttering until later on in my speech. But I'm going to lead with
Okay.
that this time because I think it's more important for me to do that, to say that, than it is for them to hear it. But once
Mm-hmm.
I say that, I think that will change the trajectory of what they'll expect to hear about me and to hear from me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I guarantee they probably have never met a Black woman who stutters before. And I'm using
Right.
that to my advantage, that most people who meet me have probably never met another Black woman who stutters.
For sure. Or just probably a person in general who stutters because
Mm-hmm.
we are
Mm-hmm.
rare. We are rare. But to
Yes, very
add
much.
being a person of color on top of that, we're like
Yes.
unicorns. So
Yes.
like
And
we're
I love saying that. We
I
are
know like
unicorns.
we're unicorns and like
Yes.
we're rare and I love that about us. You know, I
Yes.
love being
Yes.
that just that unique person in the room and I'm just like
Mm-hmm.
this is what it's like to feel special and
Yes.
to lead off by saying, "Hi, this is who I am, and I am a person who stutters." It's just like that. Icing on a cake for sure.
It is. It is. And when we all get together in community, oh my goodness, the love, the recognition, the just the sisterhood, it is palpable, and it is so special, and it is so rare that we all get to be in one space to just know how the other person feels. It's an amazing space to be in.
I bet it is, and this just being around us is just mind-boggling. I love it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Me too.
But I was reading in chapter one of your book where you said, "When I stopped hiding, everything changed." What was that turning point that changed your mindset?
The NSA has a lot to do with my transformation from being a covert stutterer to an overt stutterer. The first time that I went, I attended in Chicago in 2018. And all I did was just walk around with my mouth open, that there were more than 3 or 4 people at the conference who stuttered. There were thousands of people,
Mhm.
not thousands, but there were hundreds of people there who stuttered. And I had
Mhm.
never been around that many people who stuttered before. So I made it a point to go back in 2019 again, just for one day, just to be in that space again. And
Mhm.
then a couple years later, I think I had gone to another one. They emailed me and said, "Would you come and do a workshop?" Now, I'm a teacher by trade. I'm an
Mhm.
administrator. I'm an educator. I talk to
Mhm.
people all day long, but to
Right.
be in front of a group of people who stutter and
Mhm.
talk, like, what if I don't say the right thing? What if I mess
Right.
this up? What if I say something inappropriate? Because I'm really not used to speaking about my stuttering in front of
Mhm.
people who stutter. So
Right.
I was a little bit nervous with that, but I got in front of the group, and it was an amazing, amazing feeling to be a person who stutters talking to other people who stutter because they get it. So I didn't have to
Mhm.
explain. I didn't have to. I just had to be, and I just had to just talk. And I was able
Mhm.
to talk with the audience and make it a space where people were interacting with not just with me but also with each other. And people were coming up to me after my workshop crying because they had never felt
Mhm.
so seen as a person who stuttered. And that just blew my mind that I could host people who have the same struggles as me, and we
Mhm.
connect on such an emotional level. And then
Mhm.
the following year, I was invited back to do a keynote. So now
Mhm.
I'm on stage talking to 500 people about the 10 ways that I got past being afraid of my stutter. So I was able
Mhm.
to outline 10 things that I did to get past being afraid of speaking my truth. And that was
Mhm.
so liberating. It was so freeing, not only to have had that experience, but now to be on stage and talk about it, and to be on stage and say, here are 10 things that I did. Maybe these same
Mhm.
10 things, maybe 8 of these 10, maybe 6 or 4 of these 10 may help you too. So the educator in me was super excited that I got to share that. But then the outpouring of love afterwards, like
Mhm.
that was worth the price. And then I had my family there, my St. Louis family, who had never
Mhm.
heard me speak. And we don't talk about stuttering in my family. My grandmother was a person who stuttered. Her brother was a person who stuttered. He had 3 of his 6
Mhm.
kids who stuttered. We just called it
Mhm.
talking fast and talking funny. So there was
Right.
never any recognition of the word stuttering in my family. They're from the
Mhm.
South. We don't, and it was the 50s, 60s, and 70s. We didn't get the
Right.
luxury of calling it a name. We just said that they talk fast and they talk funny.
Mhm.
So to have my St. Louis family come down and listen to me and watch me speak and finally kind of understand, oh, that's what it's called. That's what they were doing. And I don't talk about my stuttering with my family because they don't
Mhm.
stutter. So for
Right.
them to hear me and see me talk about how I've struggled all these years with my speech and how it impacted me and how I overcame it,
Mhm.
back there were some tears that were shed, and
Mhm.
it was a beautiful moment that I got to share with my family, who said, we are so proud of you. I'm gonna cry, sorry.
Mhm.
Who said,
Yeah.
we are so proud of you for speaking your truth. And then
Mm.
they used the word eloquent.
Mm.
People who stutter don't get called eloquent,
Right.
because when you stutter, your words are choppy, you're having a
Mhm.
hard time breathing. You think
Yeah.
3 and 4 and 5 times about what you're going to say and how you going to say it, and
Mhm.
in your brain it sounds one way, and in your mouth it sounds a different way. And
Right.
eloquence is not a word that we are afforded very much. So
Right.
when people call me eloquent, even in my stuttering,
Mm.
it just hits
Mhm.
differently. Just hits differently. So I was grateful that I got to
Mm.
share that with my family and that they got to see me in a different light.
Mm, yeah, I've never. Oh wow, I've never heard anyone use eloquent ever.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
ever.
Mm-hmm.
That's
That's not,
wow.
yeah, that's not something that we're
Yeah.
afforded because our voices
Yeah.
don't sound eloquent.
Right. Oh wow. Yeah, I can relate for sure. Because when I attended my first conference, I was in absolute shock. Just being
Yeah.
around 700 people that talk just like me.
Isn't that
And
awesome?
right, look, I was like, at first I didn't want to go, but it was in Austin. So it was down the street from me. So I was like, it's in the same state as me. So I'll give it a chance. And when I
Mm-hmm.
went and stepped foot in that door, I was like, OMG, this is where
Yeah.
I am meant to be. And
Yes.
then the next year, I was like, it's out of state. It's okay. I've done this, like, I've flown out of state many times, but just going and then going on stage just for 2 minutes, just to do an
Mm-hmm.
overview of what the day was bringing. I'm like, I'm nervous, but this is the start of me accepting who I am, you know? And then
Yes.
fast forward,
Yes. Yes.
yeah, and then fast forward to this year when I went on stage, talked for 4 minutes about who I am as a person,
Yes.
and I would have
Yes.
never thought in a million years that I was speaking about who I am, and what I do. And now I'm
Mm-hmm.
the co-leader of our NSA chapter here in Houston for 2 years, and I didn't like who knew who knew this is where I would be in life. Like
Yeah.
when I first accepted this role as co-leader, yeah, I was nervous, but it's a small group, like
Mm-hmm.
20 people max. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
it's comfortable, it's intimate, it's just us. But that brought me to being on a stage in front of 500, 600 people and just expressing who I am as a person.
Yes.
And also at the conference, just being around us, people of color,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that there was an army of us. I didn't.
Love that. An
And
army of us.
like it's an army of us. And that's where I felt the connection of I am not alone. There's people who look just like me, talk just like me. It's a community that I wish I had growing up,
Wow. Yes.
because
Absolutely.
yeah, I am the only one in my immediate family who stutters, and I've always felt like the
Mm-hmm.
all and out. But meeting people who look like me, who stutters, just instant connection, and then we built a community, and I am thankful for meeting everyone I've met in the past 4 years. So
Absolutely.
I just in awe. I'm in awe.
I know. I know. And I want to shout out Dr. Kia Johnson and soon to be Dr. Anjali Richardson of the Arthur M. Blank Center for Stuttering um, in Atlanta and in think in tech in Texas. They have done such a good job of getting us together, getting people of color together to be in community with each other in so many different ways, ways that I couldn't even fathom before I was a part of those groups.
Mm,
Dr. Anjali meets with the women once a month on Zoom, and it is
mm-hmm,
such a special, sacred space to be able to meet with your sisters, with your stuttering
mm,
sisters. And when we talk about things that are on our hearts, all of us say, "Yeah, girl, me too." That
Mhm.
means so much. And even to be in community with our brothers who stutter, to be
Mm.
in a space with them. We were able to get together this summer in Atlanta, and we were able to be in
Mhm.
community with our brothers who stutter. We were even able to be in community with our young people who stutter.
Mm.
And to have that type of energy in a space, in a time, in a way that honors the piece of ourselves that we so often discount, that piece of
Mhm.
ourselves that we just wish would go away, to be told that that is a sacred place, that is a sacred thing that you have, and we
Right.
have to honor that.
Mhm.
That's life changing. That is life changing. So to be in those spaces this summer between the NSA, the Arthur M. Blank Center for Stuttering Education, to be with Dr. Anjali, to be with the sisters and brothers and kids of color this summer who stutter, I had the
Mhm.
summer of a lifetime because I saw
Yes.
myself reflected in so many of the faces that I was around. And it just validated for me that I was in the right place at the right time. It
Mhm.
validated for me that me writing a book this year and having all these things happen was divinely ordered.
Mhm.
But so much has happened for me and for all of us in the stuttering community this year to
Mhm.
really level up our game and to really level up our understanding and our acceptance of our stuttering and
Mhm.
ourselves, and to bring in that community where everyone can feel
Mhm.
like they have a space.
Yes. And I
Yeah.
always think that things happen for a reason, and us
Mm-hmm.
meeting and being in where we are now in a group of Black women who stutter, and then just being in a bigger community, adding the men as well. Like it was just all perfect timing. And then having
Oh yeah.
the younger ones come in and see the older adults say like, "Oh, hey, this is who we are. Like this is what you have to look up to. Like
Yes.
you're amazing. Your voice matters." And just to have
Yes.
kids look up to you, it's just the best feeling in the world. And I am honored to be a part of this group. And I'm so happy that I found my way into this group. And I also want to shout out Cody because without her, I would have
Oh yes.
never,
Yes. Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I would have never found my way to where I am now because she was the one that first told me about melanin stutter queens. And without
Mm-hmm.
her, I would not be part of the Blank Center. I would not be a part of his story or her story. It's
Yes.
great. Like just a shout out to her for sure.
Yes. Let me give Miss Cody her flowers right now because she created Melody Stellar Queens. And then the one thing that I am so grateful for her for at the end of our time in Atlanta for his story, her story, she said, let's get together and do a TikTok of
Mm,
the kids and the adults dancing in front of the camera. When I tell you,
mm-hmm,
when I have a bad day and I need some joy in my life, I pull out my phone, I go on TikTok, and I watch that video, and instantly it reminds me why I'm here. It reminds
mm-hmm,
me who I touch, who all of us touch. And it
mm-hmm,
reminds me of the joy that we still have, even in the midst of
mm-hmm.
something that we don't always love, something that we
Right,
struggle with, something that we wish would just go away.
right.
But I'm glad that it's here because it gives us a sense of joy, a sense of community, a sense of brother and sisterhood that we would not have
Mm-hmm.
without it. So for that, I am eternally grateful. And to Cody, I'm eternally grateful.
Yes. She is the reason why we are where we are, for sure. But I
Yes.
want
So shout out to Cody.
to,
All right.
but I want to go back to your book, Limitless Leader.
Okay.
In chapter 2, I read the excerpt that of the speech you gave at the University of St. Francis. What was going through your head during your speech?
What was going through my head, to be honest, was I hope I don't stutter.
Mm,
And it ended up, I stuttered once in the entire speech. The speech is somewhere on YouTube, so you can go watch it. But it was the first time that I, in such a public way,
mm,
talked about my stutter. And I
mm,
thought that that was the appropriate time because I had a captive audience.
mm.
It was people who were graduating with their education degrees, and I thought that it
Okay.
was appropriate for me as an educator, as a leader
Mm,
with a disability, and as a former student who used to stutter, that
mm,
those graduates needed to know how important their jobs were, how
mm,
important their jobs are as people who are educators, because they will come across kids who stutter and kids who have a
mm,
number of other of other disabilities as well. But to
mm,
hear it from the standpoint of a leader who still
mm,
remembers what it feels like in the third grade when I got
mm.
teased by a third grade kid whose name I will not say here today, but how how
Don't
to
do
get
it.
past that. I
Yeah.
want to. I want to. I have before, but for these purposes, I will keep his name quiet. But to talk to that audience about what do you do when you have a student, whether it's stuttering or not, who has a disability. Do you treat that kid differently? Do you treat that kid a different way? I wanted them to understand that that kids who are taken care of, kids who are
Mm,
cared for as kids with a disability, grow up to be adults who
mm,
care for others who have a disability, and that at least that's
mm.
what was done for me. And I wanted to
Right.
make sure that they understood that I, as a person who stutters, I'm still a leader, and that
Mhm.
was that speech was more for me than it was for them. Honestly, I wanted to be able to stand in front of people and say, I have a disability, I'm a person who stutters, and
Mhm.
this is how I lead. But just
Mhm.
to be transparent and give
Mhm.
other folks a glimpse kind of into um, what life is like sometimes for people who don't always sound like what people expect for them to sound like.
Right. Right. I know
Yeah.
if yeah,
So that's what was kind of going through my head, the education of it all. And I practiced it so much. Go ahead.
I was like, if that
Go ahead.
was me, I don't know what I would have done because like I'm a person that just goes with the flow. But if I'm in front of future educators, I will want to speak as fluent could be. You know, just
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but just to
Mm-hmm.
be as open as you were, just to say it is possible to have a stutter and to be a teacher. That it's like that. That's it. Like it's possible. And I'm also a teacher, so I wish I would have seen your
Mm-hmm.
speech before I went like into education, and like I would have come in with a different mindset because I come from a family full of educators, and I was like,
Yes.
oh, this is what I want to do, and this is it. I want to do this. This is set. But I've never met a teacher who stuttered before. So I was like, what if my students
Me
don't
neither.
accept me? Yeah. So I was like, oh my goodness. But to see other people who stutter who are also teachers, I'm just like, it was meant to be, you know? So,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah.
Yes. And to be fair, like when I started when I started teaching, it never I didn't really think about whether I could or couldn't teach because I stuttered. My
Mm.
thing was once the kids get to know me and I get to know them, I mean,
Mhm.
stuttering is a small part of who I am. I kind of made it
Mhm.
bigger because as soon as you interact with me, you know that there's something different about me. But
Right.
stuttering at that time for me was a small part of who I was or who I
Mhm.
am. And my
Okay.
students that I can remember never once said, "Oh, we don't like her because she stutters." They didn't like me
Mm.
for other reasons. Like I gave too much homework. I wouldn't let them talk in class. I wouldn't let them sit by their friends. I don't like it because of that. Well,
Mhm.
great. That means that I'm just like every other teacher, just which is fine
Right.
by me. But I was able to be my full self. I just didn't talk about my stutter. I would kind of say, "Yeah, I stutter," and I wouldn't ever go into detail about it. I wouldn't ever discuss it, which I think I did
Mhm.
them a disservice because I didn't
Mhm.
fully own such a fundamental part of me. So if I
Mhm.
could go back, I would fully own it. Like I wouldn't talk about it nonstop, but I would own it
Mhm.
more and talk about it more and encourage them to embrace those things about them that they don't think are perfect, but are definitely parts of them that make them who they are.
Mm. I like that. For sure. For sure.
Yes.
What is one piece of advice you would give the younger generation or yourself, um and just like especially people of color, like what's that one piece of advice?
Embrace yourself. Embrace yourself. Once I stopped being afraid of being my full authentic self, my whole life changed. Um,
Mm.
Hiding part of yourself is always going to be exhausting because you were
Mm.
made to be all of who you are.
Mhm.
Whether society accepts it or not, whether it's the disability, whether it's your gender identity, whether it's your race, your height, your weight, be who you are.
Mm.
There is nothing more exhausting than trying to be somebody else.
Mm.
Once I accepted my stutter and not just accepted it, but turned it into my superpower, you cannot
Mm.
shut me up about talking about stuttering because for so long I thought it was the worst part of me. Come to
Mm.
find out, it's one of the best parts of me. And I hid that for so long. So now I'm making up for lost time. I am
Mhm.
talking about stuttering. I am talking to other people who stutter. I wrote a book about stuttering. I've created a whole company about leading with a disability. So, had I
Mhm.
not accepted my stutter, I wouldn't be able to do any of those things. And I think it took this long for me to
Mhm.
accept that part of me because I wasn't ready yet. Had I done
Mhm.
this at 30, at 20, at 15, I wouldn't have been ready for all of that. But at the
Right.
big age that I am now,
Mhm.
I'm ready to accept all of me with both hands, not just a pinky,
Right.
not just a few fingers. I'm ready to accept
Right.
all of who I am, stutter and all, with both hands,
Mm.
and I'm not letting
Mm. See, I wish I was in the same boat because I'm still trying to accept the fact that I do stutter. And
go. And that's
I'm,
okay. That's
yeah,
okay.
like, I'm getting closer to where I want to be in my stuttering journey, but I still have a ways
Mm-hmm.
to go. You know, and I I met
Absolutely.
yeah, like I met people who are like, oh, I've accepted my stutter and this is who I am and this is it. And I'm just like, can I get some advice? You know, like what? Like, what was your change that you had? Because I'm just like, in my group of friends, I'm the only one who stutters, even though they do accept me for who I am. It's just like,
Mm-hmm.
just to have it in the back of my mind that
Mm-hmm.
I'm a person who stutters. I I don't know. It's just the back burner for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I am starting to get closer to where I want to be in self acceptance, and just
Mm-hmm.
to see a lot of people that are comfortable saying that they're a person who stutters, it's inspiring. Because I'm like, if they can do it, I can do it as well, and to not give up. And I'm just like,
Absolutely.
that's the motivation that I need for sure. And I'm appreciative of all the people that I've met that keeps pushing me to go further and further and further, and just to be my most authentic self. And I'm just like, I'm thankful for crossing paths with those people. So I'm still going. I'm still on that path, and I'm excited on where my future is going for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, I'm going to say something that's going to be controversial, but it fits
Mm-hmm.
me. So if people don't like it, don't take it. I
Mm-hmm.
think about accepting my stutter like some people think about accepting Jesus. You
Mm.
know it's the right thing to do. You
Right.
know that once you do it, your life will change, but
Yeah.
nobody does it overnight. It takes some
Right.
time, it takes some education, it takes some faith, it takes some prayer. You just
Mm.
can't bring something that you've been fighting with your whole life. And not that we fight with Jesus, but we do fight with Jesus because we go, Jesus, how come you let this happen to me? How come you let that happen to me? We fight with
Right.
him all the time. It doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual acceptance.
Mm.
Now I'm stop talking about Jesus because I know people go, I hope I'm talking about Jesus like that. I'm a Christian too.
Yeah.
I get it. For
Right.
me, for Sandra, that's how I had to think about it. I didn't accept
Right.
Jesus overnight. It was forced on me. So when I got to be an
Mm.
adult, I had to say, hold on a second, is this the right thing for me? Is this what I want to accept? So it took me
Right.
some time to be able to articulate not just that I want to accept my stutter, but why do I
Mm.
want to accept my stutter? What's going to happen to me? How will my life be different once I accept my stutter? And
Right.
it is so much better now that I've accepted my
Mm.
stutter. I've accepted Jesus years ago. But once I
Mm.
accepted Jesus, life is still lifing, but I have a
Right.
different type of peace. I have a different
Mm.
type of understanding. I have a different type of tolerance for folks who don't
Mm.
accept Jesus or my stuttering.
Right.
But it is a process. It is definitely a process. And it's okay that it's a process because if it happens overnight, then everybody would do it.
Mm.
Getting to know and getting to love the parts of ourselves that we don't like is a human thing, and it is a
Mm.
process. If you are a man who's 4'11", you have to
Mm.
accept that you are 4'11". If you're a woman
Right.
who's 7 feet tall, you have to accept that part of you as well. We don't always
Right.
have things about us that we love. We don't love every single part of ourselves. My part just
Exactly.
happens to be my stutter. My part just happens to be my 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 good day. But this stuttering, I don't struggle with my brown skin or height or my good day. But this stuttering,
Mm.
this stuttering is not to accept. But once we do, but once I did, it became my superpower. And I've
Right.
accepted it. I love my stutter. That's hard to say. I love my stutter,
Yeah.
but my stutter has taken me places that my non accepting self did not have the courage or the capacity to go.
Right.
Non accepting stuttering Sandra would still be stuck in a space that she did not want to be in.
Mm.
Accepting her stuttering Sandra is on national stages giving speeches. Accepting her stuttering Sandra has written a book. Accepting her
Mm.
stuttering Sandra has stepped out on faith and created her own business. So those are the
Right.
types of things that I would not have been ready for in my 30s. I
Right.
was getting there in my 40s. Not
Mm.
my big age that I am now. I'm not just accepting it, I'm embracing it. And we going for a ride that we have never gone on before. So for people out there who want to accept it but really don't know how to, give yourself some grace. It doesn't happen
Mm.
overnight. Research it, sit with it, pray about it, talk to other people about it, talk to people like us who get it.
Right.
You have to come to your own acceptance when you are ready. And some people are never ready, and that's okay too.
Mm.
But when you are ready and you do accept it, woo, my goodness. The things that your life will turn into once you accept the part or parts of yourself that you kept
Mm-hmm.
saying, no, I don't want her now. I'm not ready for that part yet. When you
Yeah.
accept it, baby, hold on. It's gonna be a wild ride. One that you've been waiting on your whole life, but just have yet to grab the reins and say, okay, I accept this.
I love it.
Yeah. And not to say
I love
like
it.
every day is perfect. I still struggle with stuff
Right.
too, but I don't let that struggle stop me from becoming the person I knew I was meant that I know I was meant to be.
For sure. For sure.
Mhm. Yeah.
I love that. That's just, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yes. That's,
You will get there when you're ready to get there, and not a moment sooner. So take your
yeah,
time,
that's what I needed to
don't
hear.
rush. When you're ready, your yes, yes. When you're ready, you will know. Stevie Wonder has a song that says, "You will know." Just like the troubled hearts, you'll know. Problems have solutions. Trust in life, you'll go, or something like that. But you will know, and nobody can tell you when you're ready. You will know for a fact when you are ready. And when you are, I hope you call me and say, "Girl, I'm ready. I want to be there."
You be the first person I let know for sure. The first person for sure.
I
Oh my
love it. I
goodness.
love it. I love it.
Well, Dr.
Yes.
Saundra, I appreciate you
Yes, ma'am.
a lot for being here, for being an inspiration, not only to me, but to all the younger women and girls of color who stutter. Um, I'm
Thank
trying
you.
not to cry right now, but just hearing your story and being in your presence, it's what I wish I had growing up. Seeing someone who looks and talks just like me, it's crazy. Oh my goodness. Um, it's life changing, and I am so appreciative. I really am.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I,
And I
yeah,
still, I'm sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
it's like I love that we we met when we did, and I just I don't know what
Absolutely.
I would do without you here. So thank you.
Don't worry, honey. You don't have to think about that part. I will say though, I still do have that 10-year-old girl, that 10-year-old Sandra, who is afraid to pick up the phone and make the phone call, or who's still afraid to step out on faith and speak her truth, or who's still afraid to speak up for herself. But then remember, I have evolved, I have accepted it. And once you evolve and accept and you change how you show up in the world. When we were in Atlanta this summer, I met a young lady whose name I won't say here, um, but she looks exactly like me. Brown skin
Mm,
girl. She was I think 14 or 16. Long braids. She wears glasses. I wear glasses. And I thought to myself, if I would have met somebody like me at her age, where would my life have gone? What would I have done? So I
Right.
try to be a role model for those young girls who were once me. And I take that very, very seriously because I know when you see somebody who looks like you, who sounds like you, it is life changing. So I take I take the impact that I can have on people very seriously. And I want to tell you specifically, Ariana, that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. Your stutter has a purpose, and you're gonna be okay. You are gonna be just fine. You are doing a podcast, honey, and you are interviewing people. I can't do that. But you are out here changing lives one person at a time. And for that, I will be eternally grateful. So I appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Of course. Of course.
Oh my goodness.
Those are happy tears, honey. Those are happy tears. It's okay. Those are
They
happy
are.
tears. Okay. Yes, it's just our emotions are leaking out of our eyeballs. That's all. Those are happy tears. Those
I
are
love
happy
that.
tears. Of course. Of course.
Well, again, thank you so much for being here, and I look forward to doing a lot more work with you in the future.
You definitely will. Call me anytime. I'm always here.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, hon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.